not the 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I'll talk about it at the end. I have thoughts and opinions, and it has to do with the amount of plot in this book. Like, I may complain that there's too many sex scenes and not enough plot.
Okay, can I hang up on you and call you on my other phone because this phone needs to charge,
Yes.
and my charger is,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, give me a second. Can you tell I'm having a great time?
Yes. That's okay. My computer is constantly going on fans, so the whole entire episode will just be my fans in the background because not even like my fans to blow on me. I mean my computer fan because it's just so hot that my computer fans have to go full blast 24/7.
Well, don't they do that anyways?
I'm so hot and sweaty. Mom, I don't like it. I will take Cat for payment of less humidity.
Okay.
uh. I feel like we should start off by you guessing how many pages of notes I took.
4.
1.
Wow. Wow, there was no plot, was there?
Not even that. I was like, I fucking hate this whole entire thing of reading a whole entire book. And while I'm reading the book, I'm like stopping every 5 minutes to take notes that are way too extensive. No one needs to know all this information. To then record a 2-hour episode on it. To then 2+hour episode on it. To then edit that. To then have to upload it and do all that stuff. I don't have the mental capacity to continue to do it like that. So I was like, you know what? This time I'm gonna do it something different. And basically it was like I played Stardew Valley as I listened to the audiobook. And every few days, I think every other game day, so about an hour, I would like tab out onto my Word document and like put down like 3 bullet points about what has happened, like plot wise, so I could follow along. But like just go off memory, like if we did for I Wish You All the Best and Nick and Charlie. Like,
okay, it don't matter to me any.
I know it doesn't matter to you. It just matters for me. The most notes I did was I made a tally mark every time there was a sex scene. Now, would you like to guess how many of those there were?
You said there was minimal plot, so I'm gonna go with a solid 12.
16.
Oh my god.
That's not even counting. I counted the scene where they had her orgasm 12 times as only one sex scene.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking wild,
Sam. My head hurts already.
Yeah.
I didn't lie when I said I hit myself in the head with Nick and Charlie.
I believe in you. It's okay. Listen, I love how short that episode is. It's so nice. Oh, God. I am a sweaty mess, but let's go. I'm Flower, aka Rose. Oh, and for the month of July, aka Anchor Month, I have decided that for my fun facts each time, I'm gonna give an update on my progress and thoughts on War and Peace.
Oh my god.
Because it's gonna take me all month. And I am, what is it? I haven't read yesterday's because I didn't think about it until late last night, or today's yet because I've been reading this book. But I'm 13% of the way through.
So
And
proud, bestie.
thank you. That is equal to over 200 pages. Um, like every 7 to 8ish% is just under 100 pages. And I know this because it takes about 2 days to read 100 pages, and it's about 3 to 4% each time. So, yeah. Good times. So far, I'm not minding it. Listen, I remember doing this project in high school on the author, and it was like this whole thing about how he didn't like how a lot of literature was written for like the rich people and all this stuff, and he wanted to write for the masses, so that it was like understandable for the masses, but also like the quality or the writing style similar to what the upper class were used to, right? And so it's like got a lot of like stereotypical classic stuff, plus hating on women just constantly. Plus like a few times when like men just kiss each other's cheeks, and I'm just like, that's a little gay to me, but okay.
Mhm.
But like for like super long classics that I've read, it's not that bad. Like I'm understanding it pretty well. Was talking to other people about it, and one of them was like,
Well, you have big brains, so.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to other people, and they were like, yeah, I had to, like, write down character names to, like, connect them all, but somehow I'm not having to do that. Like, I'm connecting them in my brain. I, like, know that this character is the son of this character, like, the bastard son of this character, but is also the best friend of this character, who is the wife of, or husband of this character, and son of this character, who is the father of this other character, who, like, yeah, there's like a bunch of mental gymnastics. Also, like, you promise this character something about this character, who then, that character also helped this character. It's like a bunch of mental gymnastics to figure it out. But I'm doing it without having to look up spark notes yet. And I'm enjoying it. Like, it's not gonna be a 5-star or anything. But, like, I'm having a good time. Also, so far the plot is, that half of Napoleon doing this for so long was him, one, being a tactical genius, and two, everyone else on the other side just being real fucking dumbasses and failing at their jobs horribly. And it's really funny sometimes. Good times. Okay, you can do your update.
My name is Fish, aka Stingray. I have multiple books, over 500 pages on my TBR this month. But also, Speak Now Taylor's version comes out tonight at midnight. And I will be more excited, but I currently do not feel good. But I painted my nails purple, so, you know, whatever. That's all.
That's all?
That's all.
Not almost 500 plus books on your TBR.
Yeah, Winter is nearly 900 pages, and then The Lost Hero and Sun and Neptune.
Yeah. I mean, I read The Lost Hero in one day, so, like, look on the bright side.
Oh, I started it in the middle of the night, and then I haven't picked it up since.
Oh, God.
I'm okay.
I'm okay. I believe you. I just sneezed so hard.
But bless you. I'm gonna get the 25% of Winter today. Mark my fucking words, bestie.
Where did you go? This is very much a stream of conscious podcast where we, similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis.
I also started Winter in the middle of the night.
Yes, I saw that. Because when you were sending me messages about my book, I was like, what were you reading? And I thought it was Winter because I saw your Goodreads update, and I was like,
I read yours first.
Winter, and then I realized, oh, you're talking about my book. Oh.
I read yours first, and you just stopped writing in the middle of a fucking chapter. How rude is that? I was so into it, too, and it just stopped.
You have one of the older versions, because I think...
I asked you, and you're like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I do remember when I stopped writing, I left off right at the next, or the first, like, time jump. Like, real time jump. Also, I never answered your question, because there were so many messages on my phone just from you.
Listen, you did that to me the other day, so payback.
True. But, yes, it is based off of real, life geography. Like, for the parts that you've read so far, it is all in, the UK, England, generally center of England, and then the part that's written that you haven't gone to is, like, the coast, and then, the time jump is her gonna be going to Scandinavia. Yeah, there's a lot of me looking at maps being like, I don't know geography, how do I do this?
Don't worry, I don't know geography either.
Between the two of us, we can do it. But yeah, because Vikings is the next section.
Yes, yeah. I remember you being excited about Vikings.
Are you excited about them touching hands?
Yes.
I thought you would appreciate that. When I wrote it, I was like, Stingray would appreciate this.
I appreciate it all, don't worry. But I would also appreciate the rest of it. Still the part
where she dies, isn't it?
Yes. Well, the laugh is a close second.
Good. I also thought you'd appreciate the laugh. Yeah, I wrote that. I was like, ha, this is something that Stingray would appreciate. And
I
then moved on
appreciate all of it, but I want the rest of it handed over. Come on. Where's the rest of it?
In my brain.
Well, spit it out. Directly to my hands.
I was gonna say, this reminds me of when a dog has something it's not supposed to have, and you're like, spit it out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to gatekeep it in your brain, so spit it out.
Oh my goodness. On today's episode of the podcast, the next book in the Katee Robert universe, The Beast. Not Jenica Snow one, the Katee Robert one. Which is funny, because I read the sequel of the Jenica Snow one earlier this month.
No, I thought we had to make graphics, because I don't need a graphic for this one. Graphics, as if it's, like, fancy. I literally need some Pixar, because whatever.
But yes, we already talked about how there's 16 sex scenes. Can you tell it's explicit for this episode? I have very base outline, so this is mostly going to be from memory. From what we know from the previous book, Gaston, aka Gaston, Beast, who does have a real name and is brought up once, but I didn't write it down, and that's it.
Wow.
They call him Beast for the whole book. And Isabel.
That's kind of funny.
A year ago, they were in a relationship where she was dating both of them at the same time, but then something happened where it's hinted that Gaston made some kind of offer to her.
I hate his fucking name.
Me too. Can I just call him Gaston instead of Gaston?
Please?
I don't like it. Listen, every time I had to hear his name, I was like, ugh. I was like cooking food in Stardew Valley, and then listening to them having throuple sex and being like, oh, I hate the name Gaston. Like a normal person. But basically, he made an offer of some kind. She turned him down, and then also broke up with Beast at the same time. Him and Beast have an antagonistic thing going on that is hinted at being because of their mutual relationship with Isabel, but also because they both had similar positions in the same group and all this stuff. So they were working for her father. So it was very much of them competing in a lot of ways. Also, something Gaston, I'm calling him Gaston, you can't stop me. His safe word is Rose, and it still irks me. And the reason why is because his nickname for her was Rose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Beast's nickname for her was Princess. Yeah. Also, we learned that, a lot of people blame her for the whole entire, breaking both their hearts and all this stuff. And, pretty early on, she's like, yeah, it's not really my fault because, if it didn't work, two people have to be in this type of relationship for it to not work. Both of us have had to, fuck up. And the way that they both agreed to be in a partnership where she dated both of them at the same time, and then neither one of them, both of them were like, we can't do this anymore. And, it's her fault. She did some stupid shit, yes, but, it's not fully her fault and a lot of stuff. It takes them a long fucking time to be like, oh, yeah, we have some blame, too. But yeah, also, while I'm on the theme of safe words, her safe word is candlestick.
What the fuck?
That made me laugh. So basically, the book starts with, so at some point in the last one, we learned that her father has died. It was cancer.
Oh my god, I wasn't annoying enough in the intro. I forgot. I didn't talk about the fact that the Red, White, and Royal Blue trailer came out today.
Yes.
I just had to mention that.
We're going to do an episode on it in August, and then in Stingray month, we're going to do the second season of Heartstopper.
Oh my god.
Episodes for both of those months. I just assumed that's how it was going to go.
I mean, do you have to reread Red, White, and Royal Blue, though, too? I mean, we're going to watch the movie.
I've read it twice already. I do not need to
read it again. Yes, you do. What about the turkey scene?
I don't need to reread it again.
Yeah, I think you do. Think about the turkey scene.
Yeah, I think about the turkey scene all the time.
Think about Henry singing off key to what the fuck song is it? I don't remember.
Listen, I also love the scene where Alex is wearing glasses and I think it's Alex who wears glasses and Henry just walks
it's
in
Alex.
And Henry's just like, hello. And Alex is like, I never wear glasses in front of people. Why did that hit me so hard? Like, I've worn glasses. There's only a short period of time where I did contacts. Like,
Think about Henry falling out the closet. Quite literally.
I will always laugh hilariously and die happily knowing that Uma Thurman is playing the President of the United States in that film. So happy. I know you don't really know her, just know that she's in a lot of sci-fi, fantasy
I know
movies.
that much. I know she exists, okay?
Yes, she was in one of the Batman films as Poison Ivy. Um, she's a blonde woman who could easily kill me. Like, she was in Kill Bill. She plays the main character in Kill Bill. Like, she could easily kill me. So clearly, I have a thing for her.
Yes, I know.
Also, when I was in college, I had this ivy plant. I don't have it anymore because it died. But because it was an ivy plant and she played Poison Ivy, I named it Uma Thurman.
Wow.
Can you tell I'm a nerd?
Yes, I already knew. You didn't have to, you know.
I didn't have to tell you. Okay, back to the actual book. So, her father is dead, and, one of her sisters, she has two of them. One of them's like a smarty pants, and the other one is, big on political stuff, right? So I assume it's the political one. I don't remember which one's which, because it was not important. Is currently running the country, but, I think it's Ursa, is what they call Ursula. I'm just gonna call her Ursula, that's what I wrote her down as. Is targeting their, sector of the community. It's like the largest sector, too, because, she wants their area, and there's this whole thing later on, a little bit later on, where Hades is like, if she takes over that area, it's gonna cause a whole, like, vacuum of power and all this stuff. It's gonna be a bad thing. So, yeah, and right after her father died, both Gaston and Beast, his, two highest generals and whatnot, left. So, she's been ordered by her sisters to go find them and get them to come back. The way they didn't expect it to become a sex thing. Honestly. So she goes, it starts with her going into the underworld, for the, sex club stuff, and she hadn't been there before. There's also, like, or I think she's been there one time before. I think it was, like, to try to make a deal with Hades at one point. But also, like, we learn that, despite the fact that in the previous book we saw both Beast and Gaston, like, rough for sex and BDSM and dirty stuff, all that fun times, right? And the whole time both of them were in a relationship with her, it was only vanilla, and so she's very upset because that means they were hiding such a big portion of themselves, and, like, how could they have worked out if, like, they hid so much of themselves, and, they didn't trust her clearly, and all this stuff, which is understandable. If you learn something about someone after you break up, that's, like, such a big thing about their lives, like, it's literally the whole entire plot of this book, like, clearly you can be upset about the fact that they lied to you about it and hid it from you, and then are like, well, I want to treat you like a princess, and then her be there, like, bitch, clearly I wanted it too, because the whole entire plot of this book is just them banging a lot, so, like, it's fine. So, basically, she walks into the club. She does have a meeting with Meg, because, like, if you're a new member, quote-unquote, you gotta have a meeting with Meg first, to know the rules and whatnot, all that jazz. She's accepted. She goes, sees Gaston and Beast almost immediately, and they pull her aside to, like, I'm pretty sure the same room that Jasmine and Jafar, like, the office room that they banged in, you know that one?
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure they go to the same office, and the two of them are standing, and they're like, what do you want? And she's like, I want you to, like, come back, because, like, we need you, and you know this. And it's kind of a dick move to just leave. And I low-key feel bad, and I don't remember which one brings up the original deal, but, I think it's Beast. But basically it's brought up that she, basically joins a sex pact with the two of them, if she gets out on her knees, with the two of them at the same time, right?
Right.
And then, for 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks, the two of them will return to, that community sector, whatever, to be the generals, and she chooses one of them, and that's the one she chooses, the end. Alright? And we learned that the reason why she couldn't choose in the first place was out of need for freedom, and this forces her to stay in the city indefinitely. If there is a point later on where they literally offer to just leave the city, and she's like, it's fine. Um, so she agrees because she kind of needs them to come back. Like her sisters literally say any means necessary. Literally, how did they not expect this? So she accepts, and then instantly they starting a scene, the first of many scenes. This one's, oh yeah. Also, I'll talk about this in a second. I did tally marks for each kind of like grouping there is. But it's the two men and her. And it's very non-con is the general theme of it, right? And so Hercules sees this on security cameras because they're security cameras, and he comes running in, and he's like, "Bitch, you can't do that with the first timer. What the hell?" He's like very angry at them, and they're like,
Hercules,
yeah,
he's the one and only, honestly.
yes.
At
So
this
he's
point,
very angry, and then it's made very clear that she's into it too. He watches to just make sure that she's into it too, and all this stuff. He's like, okay, I guess it's consensual, and leaves. And then Hades calls them up. She's asleep at this point. I think it's Beast who is carrying her, like just bridal style, into Hades' office, and they're just having this conversation while she's sound asleep. After that, and
I
basically, Hades is like, listen, we want you to go back because we don't want Ursula to take over that section. But, like, also, if you hurt her sisters will destroy you, and I don't want to deal with that mess, so you better be good to her. And then it's just moved on from. Also, we learn, Beast has a dead lover.
oh
Who's a
my
man.
god.
He has a dead male lover. I know, right? Okay. The different types of intercourse. There is one scene that is male male, female female.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Two female female. Two male female. I think it's one of both of them get alone time with her, but I'm not 100% sure. Three scenes where it's Beast and Gaston. Very quickly they realize, hey, all this antagonistic stuff, yeah, actually it's less. Let's just make out and bang in the shower.
Well,
Uh,
you know, you
and
gotta
then
sort
there's
your
one,
priorities out, you know?
4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 scenes that's male, male, female, and one of them is with the other woman from the male, male, female, female. But 7 of them are just with her, and one of those is actually the time where they give her 12 orgasms. It's not important now. I'll bring it up when it's important.
Okay, great.
Um, so apparently Beast has a lot of scars, um, and he's very self-conscious about them. Um, so they take her back to, I believe, Gaston's place. I remember this because there's this whole thing how they're different sizes. Beast and Gaston are. Gaston's technically larger, so he has to give Beast some of his clothes to wear, and they fall off his hips slightly, and both Gaston and Isabel are like real into that. That's how I
I,
remember that. Um, but yes, they go back to Gaston's place. Uh, there's like more talking, more banging. Uh, then basically her sisters do a video call like right after they climb into bed together. And she's still naked because there's like this whole rule thing where she's not to wear clothes in the building when it's just the 3 of them and all this stuff. Uh, so her sisters call her, and she's like literally naked in bed with these 2 men, and they're like, hello, and she's like, yeah, they agreed in 2 weeks they'll be there. Don't worry about it. And they like instantly get, oh, you're having sex with them, and they just assume that it's like them fucking her out of revenge of how she broke their hearts, um, and getting revenge on each other, and that she's just there for the ride, not understanding that she's into it. Good times. So the next morning, another sex scene. Don't literally. I don't want to go into every single one. There's so many. There's 16. I don't want to. Like. I feel like the only important ones are when there's more than 3 people, or she has 12 orgasms. Okay, those are the only ones that are important that I should bring up. Um, but basically, post-coital, first thing in the morning. Apparently, no one has morning breath in this universe. Um, there's like this part of the deal is that she always has to be honest with them, right? And so Gaston asks her some kind of question that has to do with their past, when they, like a year ago when they were together. And when she answers him truthfully, he gets angry, not about her answer, but like the reminder of their past, and storms off. Um, she's like really upset about it. And then I'm pretty sure one of her sisters calls again, the not murderous one, and is like, okay, we gotta make a plan to make it so our murderous sister doesn't come after you and come get you, right? Well, murderous sister's wife doesn't come after you and come get you, right? Um, you know how it works. So, so, she's like, did he do it on purpose? Like, does he actually hate me? Or is it just like something that he doesn't understand how I feel? And Beast is like, I don't know. And then gets up and leaves and goes into the shower. Briefly yells at Gaston for making her feel like crap, and then gives him a blowjob. Good times.
No.
Listen, Gaston gets it in the butt a lot. That's all you need to know.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So then they're like, okay, well, we need to talk to Isabel. And I have a way to do this. So basically, Beast tells Gaston to, like, go and just sit at the table, and he'll go into the other room, like, at the kitchen table, and he'll go into the kitchen and, like, talk to her and whatnot, briefly, right? So they do that. He just sits at the table. Beast goes to Isabel, who's looking out the window, wrapped up in only blanket, wrongfully, and she feels like Gaston hates her because he's, like, not saying anything to her, not really looking at her, and Beast is like, listen, we have past. We gotta deal with that. We gotta move on. And there's this whole thing. From his point of view, you learn that he kind of automatically already wants to be in a throuple with the two of them. He's just trying to make it so they recognize that they should also be in a throuple. And then that's kind of his whole goal. So he's like, to do that, I have to make them understand how enjoyable it could be like that. So he basically has, has Gaston low-key apologize to her, and then has her go up to Gaston as, like, a present, right? Another sex scene, and then and then there's this whole thing where they're like, we're gonna play a game, where if we can get her to have 15 orgasms,
Oh.
yeah. So, like, one of them makes a bet with the other one, and one of them's like, I bet she can have 15 orgasms in one day before she, like, stops. And so, like, the deal is, like, if he is right, like, he gets to fuck Beast in the ass, and then if it's less than 15, then Beast gets to fuck him in the ass. I don't think that ever happened because they got to 12. I already mentioned this. And if she gets to 15 or more, then she gets double penetration. That's the deal. She gets 12. But in the middle of it, they're like, let's play another game where we ask a question, and no matter what the question is, you have to answer truthfully immediately, right? Well, like, it's hinted that it's gonna be more than one question, but it ends up only being one question. And she's like, if I have to answer a question truthfully, so do you. And all this stuff. But then, like,
do you think it's sad that I get excited to check my email every day?
They get to, like, a point where after they ask the questions, and they move on to, like, give her more orgasms, like, they're in the middle of this whole ordeal, and they only ask the one, and it's brought up, like, we'll do it again, but it never happens again later on in the book, so I don't know. But basically the question they ask is, what is your biggest sexual fantasy? Hers is, like, going to a club or a bar or something, and having sex with the first person who asks her if they can buy her a drink, right? And they're like, woman too, and she's like, I said person, I mean person, I will bang a woman. Cough, cough. And
well,
like,
you know.
cool. And then she asks what theirs are. And Gaston, apparently there was, like, this time where at a party, she wore this very short dress, and he's like, I want you to wear that, like, a very short dress again, but with no underwear or undergarments, and then I take you into the coat closet and bang you, and you have to be quiet or else everyone will know that I'm fucking you, and all this stuff. That's his. And then they ask Beast, and Beast internally is like, mine is like that time that I caught her having sex with Gaston, and Gaston saw me, but she didn't, and I wanted to join them, right?
Uh-huh.
But like out loud, because like that would like admit that he's wanted to be a throuple for a while, for at least a year. So out loud, he says um something else. I don't remember. Not important because it's never brought up again. Um,
Wow.
his isn't brought up again. That is his fake answer is not brought up again. But Gaston immediately recognizes that he's lying, right? So that happens. She only gets to 12. They're like, don't worry, we'll do double penetration at some point. They do. It's not important.
Wow.
She sleeps. The next morning they get up. Beast has nightmares a lot about his lover who is soon dead, and
Wow.
all that stuff. So maybe it's 13 orgasms. I wrote it down at 13. Um, also we learned that when they previously dated, right? Gaston proposed
13
to
on
her.
Taylor Swifties.
Oh my god. Gaston proposed to her and she turned him down and then broke up with Beast, and that's what happened a year ago.
Wow.
So they wake up the next morning. They're like having coffee. Like Beast has already made coffee, and she just comes in and drinks some coffee. There's some cute flirting. He gets her to like kiss her without banging. And he's very happy about this. And then there's also like a part where like Gaston comes in and she just immediately kisses him so it can be equal and all this stuff. It's just an automatic thing. And then someone rings the doorbell and she's like, that's weird. So like one of them protects her while the other one gets the package, and it's a message from Ursula being like, hey, I know where you live. I can come get you whenever I want. Mwahaha. So she eventually they get Isabel to go back to sleep because like she just had 13 orgasms. She's a little tired, right? They do give her a bath though. There's this cute scene where the three of them are in a bath together, and they're like, "Wow, you have like an orgy-sized bathtub too." And Gaston's like, "No, I have a Gaston-sized bathtub. It just happens to be big enough for an orgy. Like, it's not my fault." Kind of funny.
No, he's too real for that.
That's also why he has a giant ass bed. Which like makes sense. Like this man is over 6 feet tall. Like I think Beast is 6 feet tall and Gaston's like 6'5" or something. Like it's and he's just like
What the hell?
6'2". Yeah. And she's like 5'5" in like to wear heels. I don't know. You think I know their personality? No. So, basically they put her to sleep, and they're like, okay, we gotta make a plan. Beast is like, either we can make a plan together, or I can just make it because Beast is the more tactical person, and whatnot. And Gaston's like, no, we're gonna do it together. They make a plan where they're going to publicly announce that they are a throuple, which will make it harder for them to separate when she chooses one of them, but that's what they gotta do to protect her from Ursula, and the best way to do that is by having public sex at the underworld, right? We've been through this bajillion times.
I love how that's just like the baseline for all this. It's so funny.
Yeah, basically. And all this stuff.
Like
So
to
they're like, okay,
protect you, we have to.
yeah. So they're like, okay, we gotta do this. So they start making plans already. Eventually, quickly, very fast, like, they've, like, right around the time that B starts making phone calls, Gaston's like, hey, maybe we should tell her about this, because at this point they've already had the conversation about the reason why they didn't work out, or one of the reasons, and why they wouldn't have worked out in the long term is because they didn't tell her about themselves and what they wanted, and their desires and whatnot. Like, her whole entire thing when they're like, well, you like broke up with us, and she's like, yeah, and you lied to me constantly about your sexual desires, and just made it me seem like the pretty princess that you had to protect. But like, I didn't want a Prince Charming. I want sex, like banging sex. But you're like, let's just do vanilla, and she'll be fine, and just like hide away my desires. And she's like, yeah, that's not how you communicate, my dudes. And so they're like, hey, maybe we should communicate with her. And they're like, good idea. So when she wakes up, they're like, okay, in an hour someone's gonna be at the house, so you gotta be ready. And we have plans. And so they tell her the basic plan, and she's pissed because like they only gave her an hour to like take a shower, clean out her hair. She doesn't even have a proper hairbrush, like all this stuff. Or clothing, you know, things you need.
Yeah.
Turns out the person they called was Tink.
Oh, hell
Was
yeah.
just there the whole time. Love it. Tink, who's friends with both of them, And they're like, hey, she's like in a robe, and they're like, hey, we need you to like get an outfit for like the underworld bit, right? And she's like, you two are fucking idiots, and I'm gonna talk to her on her own to make sure you're not forcing her into anything, right? So she does that, and Isabel's like, yeah, I'm into this, it's fine. And whatnot. And she's like, okay. And so she makes a list of all these things she needs, like all this makeup and stuff. Basically, a lot of things that Isabel will need to like live her life, and be like the royalty in this city type person. That they never thought to get her. She has not brushed her teeth once. That's gotta be an
Mm.
issue, probably, right? Like, but no one
Yeah.
cares. But she hasn't brushed her hair once. All this stuff, and so she's like, "This is all the shit you're gonna need, right?" To both of them, and they're both like, "Well, one of us should stay, and the other one should go." And she's like, "I'll leave Hook there here, like Hook can stay to make sure that we're safe, but otherwise, both of you get the fuck out of here while I do my work." So basically, they both go get the supplies while she stays, measures her, make sure, like, she's like, I don't have the time, so I'm gonna have to, like, um, take outfits I had already made and, like, make them to your proper size, alter them. But, like, basically that's what happens. She's like, are you shy? She's like, no, so she just undresses in front of Hook. And Hook's, like, not paying attention. He's just reading on his phone. He's like, I don't care. I'm just here to make sure Tink's safe, and I guess you're safe. But otherwise, I'm just gonna read on my phone. And that was the most meme moment of the whole book. Um, I would let you know Isabel didn't read a single book. And it was mentioned that she has read smutty books, but she did not read a single book throughout this whole entire book. And I hate that in Beauty and the Beast
Wow.
retelling. I hate it. I hate it whenever they do that. A Court of Thorns and Roses, a popular one. She doesn't even know how to read it the first one. I'm like,
Don't remind me
bitch,
that those
how the hell
exist and that you've read them.
I've read all of them except for A Court of Silver Flames and the novella twice. So
Wow.
the first three. I've read the first three twice. Court of Silver Flames not worth it, fam.
I wouldn't read any of them anyways. What the hell are you talking about?
I know, right?
Like,
So
if I'm reading
afterwards,
those, I'd be concerned.
okay,
Like, call somebody. I don't know.
okay. So afterwards, Tink is like, when they show back up, and they're like, "Wow, we didn't know that woman needed this much shit." And she's like, "Yeah, I know, but you think I made you go get them, you dumbasses?" We love Tink. And Tink's like, "Okay, now if I learn you ever harmed her, I will kick your asses." Also, she offered to get Isabel out if she wanted at any point, which Isabel does instantly bring up with them, and they're like, "Wow, how dare she go behind our back?" But also like, how nice of her. We love that for her. She's grown as a person, right? Um, and all this stuff. So, one of the she wears like this nice black dress that has like multiple cutouts. I don't know. But there's like this nice yellow dress that she's like, maybe at another point I'll wear. Can you tell she's gonna wear it at some type of party later on? Cough,
Oh
cough.
my god.
Yeah. So they go to the underworld. Ursula's there. She immediately starts talking to Isabel and being like, cough, cough, I'm trying to literally murder your whole family. And all this stuff. And she's like,
Okay, yeah, be
cool, cool.
creative for once at least. You know?
I know. She's like, cool, sure. And she's like, I see you got back together. And she's like, yeah, I've gone back together with them and all this stuff. And then basically after she leaves, Aurora is there. She's been in every single book so far. She's
Oh
probably
yeah.
gonna be the next one too, and the last one is the one with her. So good times. Um, but Aurora is there. Isabel has already noticed. Can you tell I want to say Belle every time? Isabel
Just
has
say
already
Belle,
noticed
bestie.
her.
It's okay.
Belle has already noticed her and is already like, ooh, I'm into that, right? Um, and she is now working as Meg's second and all the stuff, Tink's old job and all the stuff. So she's slightly more snarky now, all that jazz. Uh, and so they have Aurora take her to like a locker room where she can get changed into a skimpy outfit, a different outfit apparently. Oh no. And then all this stuff while they're like at the bar, right? And so while that's happening, uh, like they gave Aurora a card with like to give to her of like what to do, and basically the scene they set up for her is that supposed to go in this skimpy outfit into the club bar area, and the first person to ask to buy her a drink, she has to have sex with. And then they will walk in like they're catching her and punish them for it, right? Quote unquote, like
Mhm.
her fantasy that basically they're gonna do her fantasy, which is apparently was Gaston's idea, and she's real into it. She's like, hell yeah. Aurora sees it and she's like, ooh, fun time. I wouldn't mind, basically eating that meal if you know what I mean. I mean, having a lick.
If I could throw something at you, I would. I hope you know this. One day
What
I'm
was
gonna be
the
able to
other
throw
one
something
that
across
we
the room at
saw
you,
that
and it's
you
gonna be
said
so nice.
What was the one that we saw that was like a t-shirt, and you said I sent you the Instagram reel, and I was like my new version, um, eat a meal
I
if you know
don't
what I
remember,
mean. And then
bestie.
you sent it to me, and you were like, you every time you read a Raka book, and I was like, Betsy, I've already sent this to you. I don't remember either, but it was something funny. Um, but yeah, they've clearly got a thing for each other, and Aurora's like, ooh, I got a head start. So Aurora goes to work behind the bar. Belle walks out of the locker room basically to run into a lark, aka Eric, from Little Mermaid, which is important because that's the next one, where a lark is and instantly hits on her, and she's like into him, and he's all like, listen, once you're done with your two boys over there, I wouldn't mind taking you for a ride and what, and then leaves her alone, and she's like, still, real shame that he didn't ask for to buy me a drink, but she goes to the boys, they're hanging out, she like leans proactively up against the bar to like show her boobs to Aurora to be like, what's good here? Beast and Gaston figure fuck her, normal things. In
Normal
public, in front of
things.
all these people. And they're like, be quiet so no one notices. And I'm like, hello?
I think they know. Like, hello?
Hello? And so Aurora's like, I can teach you how to make a drink. And so she goes behind the bar to help Aurora, and her whole
Yeah,
thing's
because
like,
that follows health guidelines or whatever.
yeah. So she's like supposed to like reach up and grab the high up bottles and whatnot for Aurora because Aurora's super short and Belle's in heels and all this stuff. But also while this is happening, she's just casually sticking her fingers places and licking her boobs and whatnot, pretending like the boys can't see it.
Yeah, because this follows health and safety guidelines.
Yep. And so she's like, you want me to make you a drink? And Belle is like, does that technically count as you offering me a drink? And she's like, I think so. So they go to this back room that's right behind the bar, and
who's watching the bar? Who's manning the bar?
No one, apparently.
Wow.
Aurora, I don't want to say eats a meal, if you know what I mean, and I also don't want to say licky lick. Like,
just say the words, bestie.
No, I gotta figure out what that was.
Just say the words.
No.
Say it. Say it.
Say it out loud. Vampire. It's funny because only us. Not the. Are you straight? No, I have scoliosis. That's the first one I saw when I opened it up. Oh, I found it. What is it? Oh yeah. Okay, so Aurora becomes a professional pussy eater. And whatnot. And it's like set up so that like as soon as they walk through the room, like through the door into that room, they can see them doing this. Right. So they walk through. Oh my God, they're banging. And Beast and Gaston are like, oh, how dare you? We're gonna punish you. So one of them picks up Aurora and takes her out. She's already agreed to all this. Out in front of everyone in the public rooms where you can like have sex and everyone can see it, right? And then the other one, I think it's Gaston, makes sure with Belle that like she's into this and she's having a good time, right? And she's like, hell yeah. So then he also picks her up over his shoulder. Remind you they're wearing short dresses and no underwear. And brings her into the room.
It's almost like that one scene in the things we never got over.
Yes. Like to punish her, as well. And so
I want to read the second one so bad. Can you tell?
Yes. Where they force Belle to sit in the corner or on a stool or something, right? While they have Aurora sit in another area, and Gaston punishes, quote unquote, I assume by being a professional pussy eater, I don't remember. He does like oral sex a lot, that's kind of his thing. Oral sex and butt sex are his things, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, I don't know where it left off for you, so I'll just continue from a point where basically they punished Aurora, and then their punishment for Belle is to have her become a professional pussy eater, right?
Right.
On Aurora, and at this point, Beast notices that Gaston is upset about something, which is basically seeing her with someone else is kind of reminding him of his past, with her and all this stuff. So he pulls him aside into this closet, the same closet, I should mention, that her and Aurora were in. And he's like, dude, and he's like, no, I'm fine, it's just this. And he's like, no, that's like completely valid, you just gotta understand that, like, she's gonna come back to us. And he's like, us? And he's like, yeah, us. And then basically, Gaston's like, what was your real, fantasy? And Beast tells him that it was, like, the three of them, together. And so Gaston's like, cool, cool, cool. And they basically admit that they have had a thing for each other, at least for a little bit, and kisses him. Good times.
That's kind of gay.
Yeah, I know, right? And then they go back into like the main room where they're at it. And basically the two of them with Belle happens in front of all these people, and then while Aurora's just in the room watching, and then basically Aurora goes to leave after the fact, and most people are also leaving, but one of them notices, I think it's Beast, but may have been Gaston, notices Malone, aka the villain for book 6, which is the one with Aurora, noticing her and like clearly being into her. Cough cough, hints at lesbians.
We love them. We love those.
Yes. So, basically, after the fact, they go into a private room where they're supposed
Can
to,
you imagine someone who hasn't listened to the podcast before listening to this episode and just me being
literally
the most deadpanned I've ever been?
I love that. The way that some of these episodes for, like, Katie Robert have more than the first one, and then the way that on YouTube, the first Isolated Barbarians has 0 views still, but the other two have so many. It's so funny. So funny every time I laugh. But yeah, so basically they go into a private room, and whatnot, where they're supposed to spend the night, and they have a whole conversation. She's like, where did you go? And they're like, yeah, we were having some, like, issues with, like, seeing it with someone else, but we have rather day. And Beast is like, I have decided, at this point to, like, tell them both, and he's like, okay, you know what could fix this? If we agree to be together, the 3 of us, indefinitely. Like, it's been 3 days. And she's like, well, I don't know if that could work. And Gaston also is very much like, I don't think that will work, my dude. And
why don't none of these people believe in doubles? Like,
I don't know.
Come on now.
Belle eventually comes around to it. She's like, you know what? I think it could work. Like, we're gonna have to do a lot of communication, but, like, it could work. And then as she's realizing, hey, this could work, she thinks in her head, about how when Gaston, when they broke up, had proposed to her, and, like, he always wanted that marriage where, like, she'll walk down the aisle in the white dress and all that stuff, and how she didn't think she could give it to him because, like, she always wanted freedom and it felt like shackles on her and whatnot, but, like, marrying both of them at the same time, that she could do.
That's so funny. I love that.
Sadly, we do not see that scene. I'm sad.
Wow.
So, eventually...
Maybe it happens in the background of another one, if we get lucky, right?
Hopefully. Maybe the next one. Basically, maybe Aurora and Malone one, because Aurora's pretty close with her now. It's hinted that, like, Aurora's like, come back anytime. They're both very clearly into each other. You know how much vagina Aurora licks in these books? It's obscene. Like, Meg.
You know, she's the role for that.
Belle. I don't think she may have previously been with Tink, but not in that book. But, like, Yeah. So basically, they decide to be a couple, all this stuff, and then I think they eventually go back to like the actual place of
I swear to
Gaston's.
God, I think my mother's on the phone. I'm gonna bash my head against the wall.
I believe in you. So Gaston, they go back to Gaston's place, and Gaston's like, "Hey, we should do Beast's real fantasy." Because like when they were in the closet, Beast and Gaston, and he told him it. Gaston's like, "Yeah,
Yes.
we should do that," and Beast is like, "Yeah, we should do that, but later, because we gotta do this now." This other thing with Belle now. And so he's like, "Cool, cool." So like as soon as they get home, they're like, "Okay,
It's later.
let's do it." It's later. And she's like, "Wait a second, did he already tell us his fantasy?" And Gaston's like, "Yeah, that was a fake." And so Beast says that he wants to walk in on the three of them, or the two of them going at it, and then join in. So basically, what happens is they fake going to the other room while Beast has to do quote unquote work, right? And he's all like, "Oh, don't fuck my girl." And so they like it's this whole thing where they are purposely making their voices higher so like he can hear them through the walls, right? So they know when they're going at it fully. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're being so loud he can hear Gaston kneel on the floor to become a professional pussy eater. His
Oh
true
my
passion
God.
in life. Um, um. So then, uh, they do that. Uh, and then he comes in and he's like, "Ooh, what do we have here?" I think this is when they do the double penetration. I don't remember. There's so many. There's 16. You think I can keep them all straight in this gay ass book? No. Um. So, they're happy together. They're like, "We'll be together forever." Blah 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 blah. And then they're like, "We gotta talk to your sisters though." So like, probably the next day, she wakes up. They all wake up to her sister-in-law storming in. The wife to one of her sisters storming in with a bunch of men and some weapons, being like, "Hey, we need Belle." And all the men are just staring at the two of them. Meanwhile, Belle's just in the nude. And she's like, "That's weird." Um, but basically she's like, "I'll go with them. Come tonight to dinner." And they're like, "Yes, we will." And she's like, "Cool, bye." And goes to her sisters, where the sisters are just there, and they're like, "Listen, they are using you for sex and revenge against each other and all this stuff. And when we said we wanted them to be like part of the team, we did not mean this." And she's like, "One, you literally said any means necessary, and two, I want this. We're having a good time. It's the three of us together. Like, it's a good time." And this super, like, smart sister, there's, like, this whole thing where she's like, "I'm gonna make a survey thing that you have to fill out, and it'll tell you which one to choose at the end of these 2 weeks." And so
The fuck.
she did at one point fill out the survey and sent it to her. And the sister's like, "Yeah, I knew you three would be good together." And she's like, "Why, did the survey say that?" And she's like, "No, but because technically that wasn't an option on it. But every time I went to calculate it, the answers were so close. The percentages were so close that like the only thing that makes sense is if all three of you were together, not if you were with one of them, right?" Um,
Who would have thought?
yes. Thoughts? What are thoughts? I don't have them.
Neither does Ibby. There's just nothing in her little head. She came in here too, like she normally does while mom comes in here. There wasn't a thing in her little head.
Yeah,
Okay, she
nothing.
gave me kisses though.
Um, So basically she tells her sisters off, and she's like, "How are we supposed to know that like you were happy and whatnot?" And she's like, "What would you have done if it was one of us? You would have come after us." And she's like, "No, I would have stayed where I was until told otherwise, because I would have trusted my sister in knowing her own mind and body." And literally they're like, at what point one of the sisters is like, "You being there, being used by them, and not feeling happy and all this stuff." And she's like, "Oh, thank you for telling me how I feel." It was low key funny. But basically she's like, "Yeah, no, it's a throuple. We're happy. Deal with it." And the sisters are like, "Cool, okay, we gotta make it public though." And she doesn't bring up the fact that they already brought it up in public in another way. So basically the plan is that they will throw a ball and everyone will show up and they'll show it off in front of everyone that they're a throuple.
You just finished talking about the fact they're gonna have a ball.
Yes, they're gonna have a ball to show it off that they're a throuple, all this stuff. The whole time
That's
that
so funny.
in
Like, think
between
about that.
Jen and the ball, she's like worried that they won't show up, and she can't like text them because she accidentally left her phone there and all this stuff. So she's super worried, but she puts on the yellow dress, it goes down, all the stuff. The two of them show up. They notice that this whole party is going on. They're like, "What the fuck is happening?" Kneel on the ground. They're like, "Hello, we pledge our allegiance to you. Sorry we left." And she's like, "Fine, but only if you agree to like take care of my sister, and if you hurt her, I will fuck you up." And they're like, "Agreed." And so they're officially a throuple. And they're like so into the yellow dress. They're like, "Hell yeah!" Ready to do like, because there was at one point when they first saw the yellow dress, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna do Gaston's fantasy at some party while you're wearing a yellow dress," because like her sister throws a lot of parties, so it's like assumed that they can do it at any point, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited, yeah." So like as soon as she's like, "Party happening," put on a yellow dress, so they can do fantasy. I also just remembered what Beast's fake fantasy was, which was basically fucking her in her father's office, and I was like, "Hello, Jafar, is that you?" Um, But then they get message that Ursula's there, and they're like, "Oh no, we gotta deal with Ursula." So they go into the private office. The smart sister with her husband, I think his name's David. The sister who's in charge and her wife, um, Belle, and both her boys go into this room where Beast is like behind the ball, like prepared to fuck anyone up with both his hands on Gaston and Belle's shoulders, right? And Ursula comes in, and she's like, "I'll stop this turf war." Not like just reason past the fact that she's like willing to kill hundreds and thousands of people for this territory. If Belle goes and tells a princess in Olympian something for her and all the stuff, and she's like, "What is it?" Like the sisters are kind of like, and Beast is instantly like, "Fuck no, you're not going to Olympus," and all this stuff, and she's like, "No, what is it? Who do I have to tell?" And basically, Ariel, and she wants her to tell Ariel that she has Alaric and can give him back to her and all this stuff, right? And the reason that Ursula can't do it herself is because she can't go back into Olympus, and she can't like just send a text message, and she wants it to be in-person meeting and all this stuff. And so Belle she agrees. And she like low-key feels bad about this because like she realizes it's technically a trap for Ariel, but she's like, for my family, I gotta do it, right? So the plan is that Gaston will go with her to keep her safe, and then like in 5 minutes they go to Olympus. They tell Ariel. Ariel is like, "Okay, cool." And then she's like, "Listen, I met this Alaric guy because he was the guy who hit on her in the club." And she's like, "I know where he is. Like, I can tell you. Go get him." And she's like, "Oh, it's not an issue of knowing where he is. It's something else. And I know it's a trap. I gotta go for him though because he's like the love of my life, right? Thank you for telling me all this stuff." And Belle feels bad again, but they're like, "Cool." Gaston hints that like they can leave Carver City, and she's like, "We can't do that to my sisters, even though it's like kind of been her dream her whole life. That can never happen now." They go home. I may be going through this ending very fast, but let me tell you, that's how fast the ending went. The ending was like 2 chapters, really fast, just be like, boom, boom, done. And I went, "Hello?" Basically, they go in to her technically childhood bedroom. I don't know. And they're like, "Okay, where are we gonna live?" These make sure they're both okay and safe and all this stuff. And they're like, "Okay, where are we gonna live?" It's basically made sense they're gonna live at the palace with her sisters, but like they're gonna have a separate rooms so that she can have like her own space and whatnot, which makes sense. And then they climb into bed together, and they don't bang. Instead, Beats is like, "Let's get married."
Oh my god.
And Gaston's like, "Hello?" And Beast is like, "Listen, I've never been the marriage type, but like, you've always wanted marriage." And so like, it's kind of up to Belle. And Belle's like, "You know what? I initially thought when we officially became a throuple that like we should have a wedding." And then Beast is like, "Cool, we can get married tomorrow." And Gaston's like,
This is so...
Gaston's like, "We're not doing that to our sisters because our sisters will actually kill us." And he's like, "Makes sense." And she's like, "Listen, I want a spring wedding, and it's gonna happen." And so they're like, "Cool, we're gonna get married in spring." End of the book. It just ends right there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's so sudden. Out of the blue. I was just listening along, blah, 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 thinking there was going to be like another chapter or something else happening. No, instantly over. And I was like, hello?
What do you think happened with this one? Like, why was it like this?
I don't know. I don't understand. I rated it 3.5 stars. I'm going to keep the intro part where, like, you just went 3.5 stars, and I went, yeah. One, because this book was just sex. And I get that's erotica, but, like, most eroticas that are no plot and just sex, I do rate 3.5 stars. That is the average rating I rate those. And the reason why I like Katee Roberts more is because there's generally more plot than just sex in most of them, at least. Or even if there's not just like plot, there's
we'd like a little bit of plot here.
Yeah, there's like supposed to be some character growth and whatnot. Literally nothing happens except they go, oh yeah, that relationship we were in a year ago, that was wrong. We're gonna do it right now. The end. That was the whole book. It was okay, but it wasn't great. It was no Neon Gods for sure. That shit is god tier, okay? Listen, that was the first book I rated 5 stars this year, and I never rated it 5 stars. It's like a 5% chance I rate something 5 stars. So like,
I know.
It's rare. But yeah, I rated it 3.5. Because one, it's only sex. There's no plot. There's not any character growth. Nothing really happens. It kind of feels pointless.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
If you had to rank them so far, how would you rank them? Regardless of rating, just as a whole.
I think it literally goes in order of series. Like, I literally think it goes Desperate Measures with Jafar and Jasmine, mostly because of that ending. In comparison to Learn My Lesson with Meg, Hercules, and Hades. Like, I like them almost on par for the most of the book, but the endings are so drastically different, and I prefer Desperate Measures ending. So, that's why. Which is why this book is so disappointing, because, like, I know from past of reading all her other, like, a lot of her other books, that she can do so much better. But also just the ending was so just, like, what? And, like,
yeah.
Desperate Measures was god tier when it came to ending. Like, hello?
Do you think she just got bored, or was she working on too much? Like, what was the deal?
As far as I can tell, because I follow her on Instagram now. Fun fact, she uses she, they pronouns.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and I was like, wow, I should bring that up to Stingray. Stingray would appreciate that. As far as I can tell, they're, like, publishing 3 to 4 books a year, which means they're, like, writing 3 to 4 books a year.
Respectfully, that's too many.
Yeah. Like, literally, she just finished one, like, in the past week. And she's, like, trying to figure out her writing schedule as well as their publishing schedule, because she has 3 other books coming out this year, and one has already come out this year. Right?
I think maybe we should cut it back to 2 a year.
I know, right? No, like, the next book in the Neon God series came out. Or not, well, that series, the Dark Olympus series came out. One of the other ones that's gonna come out soon is the next one in that series. I don't remember, I think there's 3 more that's coming out this year. I don't know what the other one is, but also that one that I sent you, that's the Lesbian Pirates one. It's also coming out this year.
Yeah, I need to read that when that comes out. Remind me about that.
So, like, she's, like, writing 3 to 5 books a year. And also, the next one is about to be published. And she's going on a book tour right now. Which I think is the schedule
this one close to you, you should go.
Are, like, in states nearby, in areas slightly nearby. Like, I'm close enough from Boston where, like, if I drove, it would be reasonable enough for me to actually go.
I feel like you should go. I really do. I know it would be a process. But I feel like it would be a worth it process, you know?
I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't, like, I think her schedule was too heavy, and she just needed to pump out another book, and this is what happened. Which is no shade to her, because, like, girl is doing the most she can.
It could be worse.
What? Yeah, also it could be worse. Listen, I've read worse eroticas this month alone. Okay? Let alone the Shrek smut. So, like, and she's
Did you see that reel I sent you? It was another one. It was a different Shrek smut.
Also, fun fact.
There's another Shrek smut. I
saw that there's another Shrek one. I'm not reading it.
Why not?
Can't make
Well, I mean, I can.
I mean, technically, yes, but no.
Well,
fact. So
it might be good.
No. Have you seen those ads for the Remarkable tablets?
I don't know.
They're like these tablets that are like iPads, but you like write on them like they're paper, right? And like they automatically update to this cloud to like keep all your data and stuff, and they're really good for like writing and whatnot, I've heard. And I learned recently, like in the past week, because I follow her on Instagram now, so like I see all this stuff. She talks a lot about a lot of stuff on her Instagram. That she uses a remarkable tablet, and now I want one. And I'm like, I looked at the price of them at the beginning of this year because I contemplated getting one, and they're like just expensive enough where I'm like, I can't. And I'm just like sad now. I'm like, I don't need one. I already have a writing program. I don't need another thing for writing. Like, please, for the love of God. But then I saw that she uses it, and I was like, I need it, obviously. But
listen, whatever will make you write more, because I want this stupid book. Give it to me.
Maybe.
Spit it out.
She has a dog.
Maybe.
Also. I'm pretty sure she has a dog. I think it's a dog that she has. Because she's talking about her book tour schedule and trying to figure out packing for it, and she was like talking with her dog, like she was talking about it on a reel, or a story or whatever, and her dog was just there.
I hope you know that from now on I'm going to publicly call you out on every single podcast episode if you're about your book.
How many pages of notes did I write? How far into War and Peace did I get? Oh no, you didn't write again. Fuck you, Rose.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I hope you know, when I was looking, because I filmed my wrap-up today, when I was, like, in my gallery, you know, the thumbnail, what is it? What the fuck? The thumbnail to the video, like, on my phone, just how it automatically set up, is me flipping you off. I don't remember why I was flipping you off in the video, but I was like, this is just, it's because you made me weak, I wish you all the best. I was like, this is for Rose Lillian. If your name is not Rose Lillian, this is not for you. I'm leaving that in the video too.
I think this was 3 days ago. She posted on Instagram a thing that's like what I'm working on, and currently she's writing the sequel to the Vampire Queen. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's like 500 pages of smut, and it starts instantly, like within the first 10 pages of just smut. And I want to read that one. She's currently writing the second one. Up next after that one is Dark Olympus number 8. So I think
8?
Yeah. Well, I think
God
6 or 7 is the one that's about to be published. Because I've read 3, right?
And the fourth one how does someone write this much?
I don't know. I've read the first 3. I'm pretty sure. Wait a second. I gotta look it up. Because it's Neon Gods, Electric Idol, Wicked Beauty is the throuple with
the one you want me to read, right?
And yes, Helen of Troy. And that's as far as I got. And when
there's gonna be a drought in like a year or two, and everyone's gonna freak out.
I know. Right. But I read those. Oh my God, Radiant Sin, the 4th book in the Dark Olympus series, is on sale for only $2. I do not need it. I prefer the audiobook. I don't need it.
Get it.
No, I don't need it. It's
okay.
I prefer the audiobooks to her books. But right after I read those,
you could buy me a book for $2 instead.
Right after I read that is when Radiant Sin came out. And then there's the 5th one. I think is the one that's about to come out. And then there's a 6th one. I don't know what that is. There's a 7th one. Apparently she's already written. Maybe it's labeled to come out in 2024. And Dark Olympus number 8 is what she's writing next, and it's Poseidon and Icarus.
I feel like that's a weird combination. I don't know.
Yeah. But a lot of these
I guess.
I know one of them is Zeus, the new Zeus, not the old Zeus, or Hercules' father Zeus, because he died in the first one. But the new Zeus, and which is important because the guy who's married, or the woman who's married to the new Zeus, is the sister of Persephone in the first one. She was like, the whole plot out is that she's supposed to marry Zeus, according to her mother. And she's like, not. He literally kills his wives. I'm good. And runs away. It finds Hades. Hades takes her in. They bang a lot. It's supposed to be like this whole revenge thing where like he shows that he has her and he won't like take her anymore after the year because like she's been used by Hades so much. They have a good time. And then basically he ends up accidentally killing Zeus in order to protect her. It's hinted that like it was all planned by her mother. And then in order to cause peace between all that shit, one of her sisters has to marry the new Zeus. Yeah. And I think that's one of the later books, and I'm very excited. Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I understood all that.
Cruel Seduction is the one that's about to come out. And then Midnight Ruin is the 7th one. Four or five?
There's
No,
too
that's
much
the 6th
lore
one.
here for my brain right now.
Midnight Ruin is the 6th one. That one comes out next year. As well as the 7th one, which assumably is already written because she's about to, like, after she finishes writing the current writing one, she's going to write the 8th one. So assumably the 7th one's already done. And already written. They're editing it right now, probably. Right? And then there's apparently an extra project.
What the fuck?
About a desert.
You know,
I don't know.
The only thing I'm worried about that's happening next year is the fact that Kate and Kermit's are releasing a new book next year.
Yes.
Is it March 24th? It's March something. Let me go look.
Listen, you haven't even seen
Twitter?
her
Twitter.
schedule for the book tour.
I bet I did. I was closer to March 26th, 2024. Are you surprised that I know that off the top of my head?
No.
Almost.
But yeah,
I'm so excited,
the
okay?
next book in that series, she just got her physical copy of it, so like. Also, she has another one called The Black Rose, that's going up for book auction right now.
I don't know what that is.
It's where, like, publishers can bid on a book, or a book series. And you can get, like, a lot of money doing it that way. And the quote to, like, release, like, the book auction stuff, to, like, promote it was, "Would you let me fuck you right here while he's sleeping in the next room, knowing that if you get too loud and wake him up, I'll slit his throat and then go right back to fucking you?"
Okay!
Yeah! So that's a future series we're gonna get. Obviously I'm gonna read it.
You know...
But yeah, the next book in
Damn,
that
at this
series
point
comes
I
out
might read it
next
too.
month. Cruel Seduction comes out August 8th, so soon. It seems like she comes out with at least 3 a year.
Maybe we should cut it back a little bit. Just, what?
And you can already pre-order the Lesbian Pirate one. I say it's Lesbian Pirates. I think it's Lesbian Pirates. I know it's Gay Pirates because it's Katie Roberts.
You should pre-order it for me.
You can pre-order it now. Literally, the last thing I saw was that you can pre-order.
Listen, if I'm gonna pre-order a book, it's gonna be
Gay Pirates?
Icarus. No. It's gonna be Icarus.
Anyways, the moral of the story is Katie Robert is doing too much, and she needs to calm down. I'm very behind on
Respectfully.
so many series that she has. Like, please. I have enough to go through this podcast for years.
Hear me out. I'm gonna call you out one more time publicly. When are you gonna read the thing I wrote the other day? It's just waiting for you. Waiting for your commentary.
Oh, wait a second. Did you already send it to me?
It's in the doc, Bestie. You have the Google Doc.
Oh, the doc? Yes, that I still have. Yeah. I saved the name for the doc. I thought.
Yeah, I know.
Because in the order of my bookmarks, it goes right above it are what I use to track where I am in series and where I am in just books in general, tracking books and whatnot. So every time I scroll down to clicking on either one of those, I see that document. It's like right there.
I'm glad I'm so important to you.
Yeah, you're right there. I see it on a daily basis. Basically at this point. Are we very proud that I'm going to finish this series next month?
Yes, I'm very proud of you now.
You're
going to finish it. I'm going to finish this series this month.
I'm so proud.
Technically, the main portion of the series. There's still like short stories I haven't read, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's short stories in this one that I decided I'm going to read too. But yeah, other than that, like, I'm basically done with the series, and I'm very proud. I don't know what I would do after the Kraken one. That's a September me issue, okay?
Please don't start thinking about that now. I cannot be dealing with those conversations with you right now.
Listen, literally me being like, should we do an episode of Malibu Rising and Evelyn Hugo and this book and this book and this book and this book?
The answer is yes.
And you just be there like, sure. Well, because the issue is that I need to figure out what the fourth, because we have our Buddy Read, and 2 eroticas at least every month. So at least we need one more every month, and I'm always trying to figure out.
We've read plenty of books, okay, Bestie. I think we can figure it out.
At this point, it's like me finding online synopses of books that we've both read already, so I can just be like, okay, this one, and then occasionally just throwing in a Mason Deaver for shits and giggles so we can cry.
Listen, I have the audiobook unscripted. It's only 6 hours long. It's gonna happen this month. I'm gonna listen to it.
I hate that.
I don't know when.
I need to reread it so that we can record an episode like right after you read it so that we can have your raw emotional impact. Do you have anything else to say for the actual podcast episode? I'm probably cutting out all that.
I'm seeing stars.
That's not normal.
All. I know. I'm okay.
I believe me.
It stops when I close one eye. It's fine. It'll go away. It went away.
I'm just okay. The fun fact: this episode, I'm pretty sure, is under 2 hours long.
Thank God.
Be so happy. I'm so happy. You have anything else to say?
No.